Hi, Scott again. Hope you're well. No implements required for this one. This is the cheesy herb tomato boat. Again, one of those things that if you open the refrigerator up and you go, oh my God, what I'm going to eat, here's an idea. So all you're going to need is a tomato or several tomatoes, depending on how many you have to feed, some red bell pepper, some cucumber, either some white, red, or spring onion. I've got spring onion here, squeeze of lime, some chives, and some nutritional yeast. And the mainstay, the nut sauce that we did the other day in the other video, which we're going to add the cheesy yeast to. So first up, let's just actually make a little bit of room here and get going. The idea is you just take the center out of the tomatoes. Don't waste them. In fact, I'll use the smaller knife, it's a lot easier. And you just put them out onto the board because we're going to chop that up and put it back in the tomato. When we've actually got the rest of it going, that can go there. Just gently slice the bottom off. If the tomato is too round, just slice the bottom off. Don't go through it so it sits nice and square, relatively nice and square. That's the idea, because presentation, of course, is the key to all of this. See, the idea is to honor the food that you're eating, not just the people that you're sharing the food with, but the food that you are eating. And I find personally that the food reacts with me a lot different when I take time with it, and not just in the production process, but also in the eating process as well. Now, I've just diced this up because, as I said, this is going to go back into the tomato. And we just put that into a bowl. Again, just put it all together into a bowl that you can aggregate everything into. Let's just do the spring onion. Again, as fine as you can go here, because the idea is to get as much flavor in to the tomato as possible. Spring onion in this context is really neat because it's not overpowering. It's not as strong as the white or the red onion, which I prefer, and you already know my thoughts and feelings about that. So we just put that in there, which is good. Now let's take a little bit of cucumber. I'm just using Lebanese cucumbers. The Lebanese cucumbers are most prevalent where I live, around Noosa. And for those of you wanting to know where Noosa is, it's about 150 kilometres north of Brisbane, which is the state capital for Queensland. Queensland, of course, is one of the largest states in Australia, and I am on the eastern seaboard of Australia. It is a very, very picturesque and beautiful part of the planet, per se, not just of Australia, but just of the planet. Everything grows here so beautifully. We have wonderful seasons. Where I live, which is at the hinterland, which is up the back of Noosa, a place called Doonan, it gets a little bit chilly during the winter months, but it's hardly chilly. I mean, I was talking to my friend Claire in Scotland the other night, and, you know, our low temperature overnight is their high temperature during the day. Okay, so we've got the cucumber and the tomato in there. Now let's take a little bit of the bell pepper. Oh, actually, I've already cut some of that off, so that's ready to go. I take the white center out of there. I don't throw it away, but I just... And what we're doing is we're going to just dice this up, because the idea is to restack it into the tomato. Now, if you've got people turning up unexpectedly, and how many times do I refer to this whole issue of unexpected guests, or if you haven't got a lot of time on your hands, make time for food. It's a very integral part of life. And yet people are running around giving more, more credence and more emphasis to the work and the hurriedness of everything. That's coming together beautifully. Let's throw some chives in here. Just get rid of some top which has gone off entirely. So just fold those back and just cut finely. Look for these things in your market. Look for these things like chives, which is really, really neat. You see my prop tonight? This is actually barley grass, which is really neat, which I picked up from the market on the weekend. So I'm feeding that with water, and I'm having that in my daytime salads. At the moment, I'm just chopping it off. I don't do barley grass shots or anything like that, or wheatgrass shots. In fact, you know, I'm not big on it per se. I find that the chlorophyll content of some of those things gives me a real headache. Okay, so that's basically that. We've got everything in. Let's now just add a little bit of lime juice to this. We don't need a lot. And what we're going to do here, and I really just, I'll just put a little bit in this other little bowl here. Going to just take some of the sauce here that we made. This is the nut sauce that I made a couple of videos back. Don't need a lot. And nutritional yeast. Now, this is a Energy Vita savory yeast combination. It's actually a vegetable yeast or plant-based yeast, and put 2 teaspoons of that in there. Just a little bit more because one of those teaspoons was quite small. And to stir this in, this adds a lovely cheesiness to the whole combination. Now you don't want to have this too runny, too liquidy. You really just want it to merge basically with the vegetables that we've got in here, because we're going to stir this all together. Now don't worry, I haven't forgotten my herbs. They're going in just a sec. Beautiful. So just mix all this together. Oh, delicious-mo, mo. This is just... Now this is my dinner tonight, so I get to eat the... Yeah, beautiful. And you get to learn, depending on how in contact you are with your food, your fruit and vegetables, you get to learn about how it reacts and how your fruit and vegetables react. Just pop those in there. That there, a little bit of sea salt. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Got everything. Now, just going to put some of this fresh marjoram in, which I got from my garden a few minutes ago. Just slice that up. I'm going to do my finger in. And a little bit of wide leaf parsley. And this is sort of the herby combination. And I always put that in last. We just mix that in. I know it's got the other greens in it, but this just adds a nice herbiness to it. Okie doke. So let's now plate this up. There's that horrible restaurant term again, but there we go. Let's just put these into these little boats, just fill them up. Now you've got plenty here, I've got plenty, so I can come back for seconds. This is going to go over the sides right now, but that's okay. Just remove some of that. So just put that on your plate. And here's the other one. Oh, these make wonderful canapé type, offerings for guests. If they're coming for a wee party or something like that. Let's just get some of this other greenery on top. Now a little drizzle of this, because you know I like a little bit of macadamia oil. You can never go wrong with this stuff. Never. I know. This is my little secret trick. We want to actually just put some of these in the top here. And people say, "What are you doing? What are those things?" Well, they're little veggie antennae. they're little antennae that work brilliantly. They pick up the vibes of the people who are eating it, and we'll put those on either side. And just a little bit of pepper. Oh, stunning. Guess what? That's it. Now I'll just hold that down as close as I possibly can, so you can just have a little look-see. I'll turn it around the other side, and it's dribbling over the top, which is just lovely. So that's it. That's the cheesy herb tomato boat. I hope you've enjoyed that. If it only takes a few moments when you're doing it yourself, until the next video, go off and make this. Enjoy it with your friends, family, and whoever. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? I'm Scott. Cheers. Bye.